Hello, and welcome back to the Foreclosure Deals Coach podcast. I am your host and Foreclosure Deals Coach, Donnie Coram, and this is the show where we discuss how you can find, figure, fund, fix, and flip a foreclosure deal. And obviously, if you're watching this right now, it is 4th of July. Happy 4th. Hope you're having an incredible day with family, doing the barbecues, hopefully watching some fireworks later. I'm excited for a very exciting day out and about in the nice weather, and I hope you'll be doing the same. I find it interesting. Obviously, when I'm out and about in life, and we had a bit of a gathering last night, and I met some young people who are struggling to find their independence. And, you just think back here, when the nation was formed, 1776, we are working to declare our independence from Europe, from England, right? We're going to declare ourselves as a country. What did that have to feel like, right? For people who were just getting, we moved over here to the US. We're trying to stake our claim, stake our ground. You've got England as this overarching government, basically declaring that you're going to do what we say. And we stood up and said no, declared our independence, became the wonderful country that we are today. How do you think that must have felt back then? Well, what were people going through in that? Well, I find it very similar, to be honest with you, to people who are trying to declare independence from financial insecurity. And I talk to young people a lot. I'm only 46, so I don't feel like I'm that old yet. But, at 46 years old, I'm talking to a lot of people. And there's just, when you're talking to somebody in their 25, 30-year range, my daughter is 20 years old, there's a constant theme that being enslaved to the system, as it were, is sort of normal now, right? You're going to get a job. You're going to make just over your bills, right? That's what job stands for, just over broke, right? You're going to struggle for the most of your existence. And this is simply how the world is supposed to work. Independence seems like this fleeting thing that nobody's going to achieve, right? For me, there are 3 types of freedoms you really are looking for that I believe real estate can allow you to have. Number 1 is obviously the financial independence. My clients are looking to fix and flip deals, so we're buying low and selling high with a desired profit of $25,000. Now, the problem I face on the financial independence part of this most of the time is that people watch the flipping shows, or sometimes even worse, they actually do a flip. And if they don't make money, obviously that takes a major mental toll. You put all this work into this and you didn't make any money, and that's really hard. But I gotta be frank, when people make too much money on flipping, which sounds counterintuitive, it actually causes some problems as well. I had a client who cleared over $70,000 on a deal. Okay. And obviously she was ecstatic about how much she made on the deal. But the problem is every deal she evaluated now went through that lens. I now want to make 50, 60, 80 grand. You watch the flipping shows on TV, you see these guys making $70,000, $80,000 per deal as a pretty normal thing. And as a result, that seems like that's how flipping should work. It seems how real estate should work, like this get rich quick, instant come up type thing. And nothing could be further from the truth. True financial independence, particularly from real estate investing, comes only from the consistency of doing a predictable amount of deals per year. Here's what I mean by that. If you can average $25,000 per deal, which is our target for our clients who do deals, and you can do 4 deals per year consistently, now you have a fluid business that's actually making you money on an ongoing basis. Okay. If you can manage to do 1 flip that makes a bunch of money, obviously the money from that is amazing if you make 70 grand on a deal, right? But it's not going to provide for your family. You can't live on that for very long, right? Even if you get a whole year out of it, which would be awesome, that's not going to change your life. Okay. However, building a system with a foreclosure profit system that I've created allows normal people to get financial independence by doing a minimum of 4 deals per year. But you have to declare that independence. And the way you declare that independence is much like when we ratified the Constitution here in the United States of America. We just said, this is the bylaws to which we are going to live moving forward. Okay. And if England has something to say about that, I guess we're going to go to war against that. Are you going to war against your financial slavery, right? And if you're 2 things here, right? If you're working at a just over broke situation where you've got a job, as so many of the young people I talk to who want to get into real estate investing are in, right? They're just over broke. Like I can't escape this rat race. But it's not true you can't escape it. It's just not super easy. Okay. Anything that's worth doing is going to take a great deal of effort. Like when we became an independent nation from England, it took a great deal of effort to step out on faith and do that. Flipping properties, learning this process is going to take a great deal of effort. And although, as your coach, I can help you through a lot of the pitfalls, get you to do deals consistently because we find deals all the time, and help you to learn it much faster by doing a lot of deals in a short period of time, I can't take the effort part out of it, right? You're going to have to put in the work. And most people come to me willing to put in the work. They just don't really know what the work requirements are, right? So the three freedoms, let's get back to that. Freedom number one is financial freedom. You're looking to make enough money that you no longer have to do the job that you do or don't enjoy, or you don't have to produce income in the consistent manner. I believe that the foreclosure profit system can do that because unlike looking for home runs, as so many people do in the real estate investing, where they're looking for that perfect deal and everything's got to line up and I got to make 50, 80 grand if I'm going to do a deal, that you never achieve the level of financial independence you're looking for when you approach real estate investing from that angle. You absolutely positively have to be looking for consistency. For my clients, the goal that we set for most of them is 4 deals per year, because most people can afford to do one deal at a time. You need about $50,000 in liquidity to do one deal at a time. That adds up to 4 deals per year. But I have other clients who can stack. They can do 2 or 3 deals simultaneously. And those people are in a position where they can do 10 to 12 deals per year because they can work on multiple. Okay. But if you're starting at one at a time, you are building your independence financially because the income has become predictable. And that's a very critical part about any business, right? Where you know how much you're going to make. Even in the coaching space, I'm looking to put 4 clients in the system per month, and I want to find 4 deals for those clients. The income that brings in has to be cut in half because I've got overhead. I've got my team that I have to pay, right? They expect to get paid for the work that they're doing. I've got to do marketing to find deals. I've got to do marketing to find coaching clients, right? So you're building a business. This is not a hobby, and it's not really a side hustle, interestingly enough. It is something you can do while you maintain a day job. So I guess in that aspect, you could define it as a bit of a side hustle, but it's actually an education system where you understand the merits of buying low and selling high. And when you've done it a handful of times, you don't really learn it the first time, but it also doesn't take hundreds of transactions to become an expert in this in a lot of ways. When you cross over to 4 or 5 deals, you're going to build a momentum where you understand where to buy them, how to get them fixed, and how to sell them at a profit. Right. And my system has cut out all the major expense items so you can do that as a rookie and get there much, much sooner. Okay. And so I'm talking to these people who are looking for financial independence. The idea of being captured. One gentleman I spoke to just last night, he's like, well, I grew up in a ghetto part of the South, right? And people where I'm from just don't have any options. I'm like, I'm not saying that everybody can just hop in and do foreclosure investing on day one. It is true that it requires some degree of financial commitment that not everybody has. What I am arguing is that everybody wakes up with the same 24 hours per day. So when you woke up this morning, you had to make a choice. Now, it's a holiday. So the choice I'm making, and I hope the choice that you're making, is you're going to take some time off and be with your friends and family and really enjoy this day. But on a normal business day, you're deciding what you're going to do with that 8 hours. If you're deciding that you're going to go work for somebody else at a job you don't like, okay, to make an insufficient amount of money to produce the life that you want, that choice may be necessary in the moment. And I can't argue that fact. Okay. Certain things are going to have to be done even when you don't want to do them. What I'm arguing is that if you're not taking choices to change that, then you are always going to be in that rotation. Right? For people who are in the military, you don't have a ton of options. You got a contract. You can't quit your job tomorrow. You have to stay there for a certain period of time. But what are you going to do when you transition out of the military? What is your plan? You're going to go work in the private sector at a job you don't like, still making an insufficient amount of money to cover your lifestyle? Or are you going to use the experience you gained from the military, the discipline, the leadership and training to go work in the private sector, make 4 or 5 times what you were paid as a military service member? Or are you going to get a normal, mundane job and live out the rest of your life using your retirement income to bolster it? All the answers are correct. Okay. And I want to make that clear. I am not judging anybody for whatever choices that they make. What I am saying is if you want more, if your goal is you want more, you've got to declare your own independence from whatever is currently keeping that independence from you. Okay. And for me, When I was working a corporate job, I didn't enjoy the corporate job. I did not like going to work. I did not like my job. I did not see a future, although I was working at HP, so a big corporation. Seemed like there was a ton of upward mobility, but it's not where I wanted to be ultimately. So I declared my independence from that situation and hired somebody to teach me how to do real estate investing. Right. And that's a large part of where this story starts today. I declared my independence by getting uncomfortable. Right. And that's a critical part of this. I talked to this gentleman for a while, and he's like, I think, he has this job. So I got to do this job 8 hours a day. You don't have, I said, you don't have to do anything 8 hours a day. Well, I got to feed myself. You certainly do. But if I told you you were going to make $100, you had to make $100 per day, right? To go door knocking to find a deal, just for instance. That's how I made a lot of my first couple of deals. I was door knocking. I would go find deals by just finding people who were in notice of default, and I would convince them to sell them to my then mentor coach. I was a wholesaler, basically helping to find deals for other people at the time. Okay, so that's how I declared my independence. I did something very uncomfortable, and I was paid for it. I was paid $100. I don't think it was $100. I'm offering $100 now. I want to say it was $50 to $75 per appointment that I set, where we could go out and offer a cash offer on a deal. So I was a lead generation system for a very large buyer here in town, my mentor. So you can make that choice. You could decide that that's how you're going to declare your financial independence. Instead of being limited to $20 an hour, which is whatever they're paying you, you can determine, I'm going to work in a commission environment where the more I produce, the more I'm going to get. That is one way to declare your independence. Now, what does it mean? It means that some days you're going to make more money and some days you make very little money. Most people can't handle that. They put in an 8-hour day. They've been trained that 8 hours at $20 an hour is $120, and that's just what they're going to make. The idea behind transitioning from a worker mentality to a independent mentality financially is that you get paid for what you kill. And a lot of people can't handle that. They just don't believe in themselves enough or the system that they're in that they can do that. But I can tell you with certainty, we have a choice each and every single day. And the US really stated that choice to a large organization, a country, when we broke away and said, we're going to declare our independence from that. And you today can declare your independence from being financially enslaved if it's something you choose to do. Will that transition be easy? It will not. Okay. Will it be fun? Probably not. Okay, along the way, the pitfalls, the things you're going to learn are going to make that difficult. It's not designed to be an easy process, but will you declare your independence from that? Okay, so we've discussed financial a little bit, but let's also discuss the other freedoms. And for me, there are 3 freedoms that matter. Number one, it's financial, and that's one people are most common with. It's not the most important one to me, by the way. People think that I'm very money driven because I'm in a money business. But to be honest with you, what I'm really looking for, and a good friend of mine who's extremely wealthy told me, he says, money is not about what you can buy, but rather what you can have done for you. Money gives you freedom, right? And if things are being done for you, you now can be other places and do other things. As a, for instance, the other freedom is location freedom. And what is location freedom? Well, location freedom really hits home for me this time of year because I love it here in Colorado in the spring and summer months when things are warming up and it's beautiful out. And, it's just the weather is gorgeous out here and people are out and about. We're more of a dry warmth. So like unlike some of the places in the Southeast, like Florida or North Carolina, where this guy was from, when you're outside in the summertime, it's enjoyable, right? That's a big thing. I love it here in the summertime. And this being one of my favorite days, getting outside, hanging out with people, watching the fireworks, that kind of thing. I just love it. But when things get to about October, November, I stop liking it here. Right. And the reality is there's nothing wrong with Colorado as a whole. I'm not into skiing. I really appreciate those who are, right. And having ski resorts really close by. A buddy of mine is working on a development in Fairplay, Colorado right now. It's like 30 miles from Breckenridge, selling little tiny homes. If you handle those tiny homes, you can live in those, pay the lot rent, and you're 30 miles from the slopes, and it's much cheaper than obviously owning a condo in Breckenridge because that real estate's gotten really expensive, right? So That's people who want that location independence, can live in this tiny home part of the year and be close to the ski resorts part of the year. That's the reality of what real estate investing gets you. You're making an investment in this condo that you can rent out in the other months. You have to rent it for 30 days. You're not doing Airbnb there, but you can rent it out, make money on it, and then you can live there in the off season or the on season when you want to have that location independence. So that's a second one. The third one is time freedom, and that's really the most important one. Time freedom is the ability to do what you want to do when you want to do it. And time freedom is by far the hardest one of the three to obtain. Okay. If you have enough money, that's a great start. Okay. If you can be where you want to be, that's a great start. But can you wake up in the morning and do what you want to do with that day every day? Right. And even part of the time. Right. And time freedom is the hardest to obtain, but by far the most valuable, because your time is the most precious asset that you have. You can always make more money. And that's a common misconception. There's a finite amount of money. They print money daily. Okay. The economic system is currently creating money right now. Okay. So it always builds money. There's no shortage of money. Okay, but there is a shortage of time. You got a limited amount of time on this planet. You got a limited amount of time per day. So to really obtain time freedom means that you can have enough money to buy back your time. And I believe that flipping real estate is one of the surefire ways to gain that time freedom, because although it absolutely comes at a cost, right? To get there, once you buy your time back through real estate investing and you're making 4 deals per year happen consistently, you know somewhat predictably that you're going to make 100 grand this year on flipping houses. You're going to find that you have a lot more time. Right. And that time freedom is going to be a wonderful feeling for you, because it's going to allow you to do what you want to do, how you want to do it. Right. And although you can't get there quickly, time freedom takes the most time to achieve. If you're declaring your independence from what you're currently doing in life, real estate is one certainly great vehicle that can get you there. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be fun. And it does require a great deal of guidance. I interview and I'm interviewed on shows of real estate coaches, other investors all across the country. And the common theme is, once you take action, it takes up a lot of your time to learn this stuff, to do deals, to get things going. But you look a year or two down the road where you've learned the process, you got a real good feel for this, and you're building a consistent base, a system that can start to function at a very high level. You are slowly but surely buying your time back so you can have the time freedom that you want to live your life on your terms. My point in all of this is not to sell you coaching, but rather, if you were looking for that independence, okay, if you were looking to break free of the things that bind you today, I want you to go have a good time and enjoy the 4th of July, celebrate the independence of our nation. We are still the greatest country in the world, in my opinion. And as a result of that, it's important to take time out to celebrate our Independence Day. So I do hope you do that. But tomorrow, if you'd like to chat about gaining back your independence, learning how to get your financial time and location freedom back, real estate investing is an excellent way to get there if you have the financial qualifications to do so. Okay. And really, there are 3 things that you need to really be an effective coaching client. Number 1, you need to be willing to do a deal in the state of Colorado. We are really good at finding deals here right now. Not to say that we can't find deals in other states, but I am here. My teams are here. My construction teams are here. My team is all over the country, but my construction team is based here. My agent here, I've worked out the deals here. My acquisition guy that we have is here. We are looking at expanding to the Phoenix market for the winter, so we can do deals in another market, so I don't have to be here in the winter time, because I want my location freedom, right? But I can't be too far because I've got kids here. My daughters are 20, 16, and 14. My oldest is obviously very independent, so I don't see as much of her as I'd like, but I'd like to be able to fly back quickly and see her. And my 2 younger daughters are still in school and be able to do events. So we're going to have some degree of location freedom while we look at other markets, but I want to be close enough that I'm an hour and a half flight away so we can do deals out there. That's how I'm building my location freedom, by finding deals for my clients in other markets. Right? The time freedom comes from when I am working like I am now. I'm doing something that I love, which is talking to you, right? But what I ask today, I want you to declare your independence. I want you to decide whether you're going to do real estate or investing or not. Use Independence Day, because I do this every year, to redeclare your independence from financial burdens, from location lack of freedom, right? And from time freedom. If you want to achieve that objective, you've got to take massive action. And one action you can take is having a discussion about whether real estate investing, foreclosure flipping specifically, is the right fit for you in your portfolio. If it is, I would love, and I mean love, to just have a conversation with you about it, see if it's the right fit for what you're doing right now. We're doing a ton of deals in Pueblo, Colorado. We're bringing in a lot of great deals for clients who are just getting started, and the life change is starting to begin. You could certainly be a part of that. All you got to do is reach out to me, slide up in my comments, reach out in my DMs, whatever you can do. Let's just get together and talk about it. No hard sales pitch, none of that. I've got plenty of clients. I just signed client number 39. Okay. It's not about needing to get a client this month. It's more about I want to work with people who are really looking to change their lives and get the financial time and location freedom that I believe real estate investing can provide to anybody who's willing to take those first steps. So that's our show for today. I hope you got something from it. Happy 4th, go out there and enjoy yourself today. I hope you're already doing so. But if you do have some questions about the real estate market or anything we can do about getting you started in real estate investing, I would be honored to have that discussion. Please reach out and we can do so. With that, that is our show for today, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really do appreciate it. And I want to remind you now and always, don't buy a house, buy a deal.